Hey, it's me, MLB. It's the Stone Hashira up next for his turn in the spotlight, and he gets 2 parts because reasons. I don't know, he's just special. This one shot of him, he is paired with a female listener, and it is titled On Assignment. Enjoy. You peeked around the corner of the orphanage. There he was again, like usual, posted at the gate, sitting cross-legged on the grass by the... Really, bird? Okay, I'm just going to leave that in there. Like usual, posted at the gate, sitting cross-legged on the grass by the sun with prayer beads in hand. It's where he usually sat, and although you had never spoken to him, you felt safe with him just being there. He had been sent to protect you and the children at the orphanage, since there had been a number of children go missing recently, and it had been very upsetting and scary for you. Well, probably for everybody else there too, but for you especially, since you were the one who owned and ran the place. After your husband of only 2 years and your little baby of only 6 months had both been devoured by demons, you decided to grieve their loss by opening up an orphanage to take in all the children who had lost their parents the same way. It was a mammoth task, but you did it all with a smile on your face and love in your heart. You hadn't ever thought about getting married again, or even finding someone for that matter, but having a strong male presence around the place really did put your fears at ease, and you felt happier with him around. There had been a few times that you had wanted to approach him, but he always had a very intimidating look on his face, and you didn't know what you would do if he yelled at you to go away. He's just here to do his job. I mustn't disturb him, you thought, as you pulled back from the corner of the building and walked back to the laundry house to hang the sheets that had just finished boiling in the wash tub. As you pulled the wet sheets from the laundry tub and dropped them into the wringer, you kept thinking about the man sitting out the front. All you knew about him was that he was a Hashira, one of the highest ranked as far as when it came to slaying demons, and you also knew that he went by the title of the Stone Hashira, and his first name was Gyomei. When you had approached the Demon Slayer headquarters for assistance regarding your predicament with the children being stolen by demons, you had spoken with a lovely woman named Amane, who had promised to send someone to protect you. She seemed so trustworthy that your ease had started then, really. It was the next day that you had looked outside and seen the Stone Hashira there. You'd thought to go up and talk to him, but had been too shy to do so and had stalled. That's when a loud crow, like the one outside right now, had suddenly appeared and announced the name and position of the man at the gate. As far as you understood, the crow was the Stone Hashira's messenger, as well as friend, and would bring messages to him from the headquarters, as well as warn him about certain things. You'd been happy knowing that who he was initially, but now you wanted to know him a little bit better. After wringing out the sheets, you carried them one by one to the bamboo line outside to hang them up to dry. As you hung them, you sang softly to yourself, your sweet voice carrying on the breeze. While you worked, some of the children came out to see what you were doing. "Mama!" one of the little girls called as she came running out and wrapped her arms around your leg. "Oh, good morning, sweet one," you said with a smile as you looked down at her. "Are we going to make daisy chains today?" she asked, her big brown eyes begging up at you. "Oh, my sweet, we need to go into the field beyond to get daisies," you said sadly. "I don't know if that's a safe idea." "But I asked the man at the gate if we could. He said yes," she said with a small, sad pout. "He did?" you asked with surprise. "You're very brave to have spoken to him. Do you not find him scary?" "No," the little girl replied, almost like the thought had never crossed her mind. "He's very nice and he speaks very kindly," she added. "Oh," you replied with a curious surprise. "Even I've not spoken to him," you admitted, as you looked from her to the next sheet that you were hanging out. "Okay, let me finish this and then we can ask him to come with us to the field," you said with a smile. I might be able to gather the courage to speak to him, you thought. After hanging the washing, you went back inside the building to gather the children for an outing. You had 12 kids now, ranging from 5 years of age to 12 years of age. At one point you had had 20 children in your care, but now the place was a lot quieter. "Okay, let's go. Now please stay together and stay where I can see you," you said to them all as you got to the door of the place and then opened it, looking out the door to the Stone Hashira by the gate. The rambunctious 5, 6 and 7-year-olds went shooting off to the man at the gate, and you could see them talking animatedly to him as you approached with the elder children. As they spoke to him, he stood up, and you were stunned at his height. "Oh, I had not been expecting him to be so tall," you thought as you slowed your walk. "What's wrong, Mama?" one of your 10-year-old girls asked you as she took your hand in hers. "Why did you slow down?" No reason," you said with a smile at her. "Let's go." Trying to be brave, you stepped forwards and bowed to the back of the man when you got to him, looking up at him as he turned around to you. You were quite surprised to see that he was blind in both eyes. No irises nor pupils there to greet your curious gaze as he held his beads between respectfully praying hands. "Sir," he said with another bow, "thank you ever so kindly for offering to care for us while we play in the field. I understand that this is not part of the obligated contract," he said. "Children deserve happiness, and they have had enough happiness stripped from them in their short lives. If making daisy chains restores happiness to their hearts, then I am willing to assist," he said kindly, and your heart nearly melted. This man was so sweet and considerate. You almost felt like apologizing right there and then for thinking he was rough and intimidating. "Oh, you're very kind," he said with another bow. "Hashira," one of the boys called brightly, "can I ride on your shoulders?" "Oh, please don't," you started to chide the sprightly child. "I would be honoured," the stone Hashira replied, turning to the boy and offered his right hand out for the boy to hold it while he lifted him up onto his shoulders. You watched with curiosity as the Hashira, with one arm, hoisted this boy up onto his shoulders effortlessly, and the boy settled into place, holding onto the Hashira's short black hair. He doesn't seem to be handicapped at all without his sight, you wondered, watching as the Hashira started to walk then, and the children followed or ran on a little bit ahead of him, chatting and laughing as they went. You could hear your older children whispering and giggling behind you, and you looked back to ask them what they were talking about, but as you looked back, two of the girls grabbed your hands and ran around in front of you and started to pull you along a little bit quicker. "Come on, Mama," one giggled, and you did speed up, but also, why were they pulling you faster? "Girls, what?" you asked, but then you saw they were pulling you up beside the stone Hashira as he walked, and the second that they got up beside him, they let go of your hands and ran ahead, giggling proudly to themselves. "You have lovely children," the stone Hashira said to you, and you marvelled that he knew that you were there. "Yes, they are very good children. I just want to give them a good life," you said with a small smile at the ground. "It's like you said, they've had so much taken from them. I want to show them that there's still beauty left in this world." He didn't say anything, so you looked up at him and were shocked to see tears cascading down his face. "I couldn't agree more," he said sadly. "Oh," you said, a little bit lost for words. "Please don't cry." "Your words have touched my soul," he said. "You're a beautiful woman and a beautiful heart, and your sweet song only adds to your beauty." Your face, if he could have seen it, was red hot, and you looked down with bashful embarrassment. "Oh, I'm nothing of the sort," you replied modestly. "I do hope you don't mind, but I did hear your story, and I wanted to give you my heartfelt condolences for the loss of your husband and baby," he said to you, still with tears rolling down his cheeks. "Oh, please," you placated. "Where one flower is taken, another will grow in its place," you said wisely. "Although the flowers that were taken can never be replaced, there still can be found a beauty in the new ones that grow." You looked at him, and the tears were flowing faster now, and you felt bad. You hadn't been intending to make him cry so much. "Hashira, we're here!" one of the little boys called when he could see the field ahead. "There are so many flowers," you commented, half of you trying to be mindful that he might not have been able to see them, but if you mentioned them, he may have been able to envisage them in his mind. "They give off a beautiful scent," he replied. "I can tell there are many." Once he had got into the field, he put the little child on his shoulders down, and you sat down on the grass to watch the children play. Each of the girls made him and you a daisy chain, and by the end of the time there he was covered in daisy crowns and wreaths and had more tears streaming from his eyes. You and he did get a chance to talk while you were there, and became very close in that short time, sharing many things about your lives that you hadn't shared with anyone before, and by the time it came to head back to the orphanage, you were feeling much more comfortable around him. On the way back, he offered to carry 3 of the children, and you watched with awe as he carried one on each arm effortlessly and one on his shoulders, and then placed them down with care once he got back to the orphanage gates. "Thank you so much for coming with us today. The children have had a wonderful morning," you said with a smile. "It's been my pleasure," he said. "I'm glad I got to speak to you. I was wondering if you'd ever come and talk to me, or if you would always watch me from around the side of the building," he said with mild cheekiness. "Oh, I'm so sorry," you said, embarrassed at being caught out. "I was worried you would not like for somebody to disturb you," you admitted. "You appeared to be quite serious." "I am more than happy that you decided to seek," he said politely. "In fact, I'd very much like to see you again." Oh, Gyomei is making moves. That ends part 1. Stay tuned for next week, coming part 2. I'll see you then.